Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. It actually happens to be Friday the 13th. Hi, Jim.
Hi, Anna. Well, we're quite some distance away from each other today, and I
Tell
can
me
tell
about
where
it.
you are.
Yeah, I
Do
can
you think
see you're on
anybody
the
else
beach.
can tell where you are?
I don't know. We have any viewers? We are getting some. So yes, I am in Venice for the weekend. How about that?
Wow, you are just such a jet setter rock star. Well, I'm just on the beach in Santa Barbara. Usually I'm here, for a few days every month. Right now I'm on Tsunami watch because it's Friday the 13th, and I thought, well, this could be the day. So I'm on a step ladder. So in case the tsunami comes while we're in the broadcast, I just want you to know I'll be safe.
You'll be safe. Okay. Well, I,
Yeah.
I, okay. I will not worry about you then. How about then I ask you a question while you're standing on your tsunami ladder, step ladder. Are
Okay.
you ready for it? Make sure you hang on
Yes,
tight.
ma'am.
Okay. Here we go. I've got some cash in my individual investment account I was going to use for real estate transaction, and the deal fell through. It was $75,000. What should I do with it, Jim?
Well, you know what? That is an interesting question. And many times I respond, it depends. It depends upon when you're going to use that money again. I mean, are you looking at 10 more real estate deals in the next 6 months? You'll probably use it. Or it was going to be a really good deal and you had sold a lot of stuff and that really good deal fell through. And so you're sort of sour on real estate and you probably are going to put that money back into long term investing. So that's the first thing I want to know is what is your timeline for using your money? And secondly, I would be looking, because this is a client, I would be looking at their asset allocation now, where their other investments were located, both in retirement accounts and in individual or joint accounts, and then making a determination. In this particular case, this was less than 10% of their invested assets. So it's going to have a minor impact on their asset allocation and ultimately their performance. So I actually picked up the phone in this case, called the client, and said, when are you going to use the money again? When I found out that it was going to be in a short time, I said, well, you're just going to need to put it in a 1% insured savings account because if you're going to use it in the next 6 months, you really can't take any market risk, not only in stocks, but right now with interest rates poised to go up, even in a bond or a bond fund. So I just recommended the 1% savings account insured for that money because I think the client's going to use it again.
Right. Well, that's what I was thinking too, Jim, is in the meantime, before the next real estate deal comes around, put it in the FDIC insured type of account. So that it's
Great.
there, that it will be there when they need it. Well, very
Okay. So I've got a question for you, Anna.
no, shoot for it.
My husband and I are 55 years old, and we were just told that our insurance is going up over $800 a month next year. What should we do? Well,
Well,
what kind of insurance are we talking about here, Anna?
think this is a health insurance question, Jim. So
Ah,
health
okay.
insurance.
Because
Well,
it didn't say in the question what kind of insurance, so I was guessing because I thought it was their long-term care insurance, to be honest with you. So I'm glad you clarified that.
yes, this is a health insurance question. So it's funny that this question came in, Jim, because you and I, we're not 55-year-old yet, but we just got a letter in the mail from our insurance company, Blue Shield of California, a wonderful insurance company, and we are going to have 20% increase each in our premiums next year. So
Wow.
here's what I am going to do to try to figure out how can I reduce the cost. Do I keep the plan that we currently have, or do we go out and find something else? So there's a couple of ways to approach it. I'm going to look first, and this is what I'm suggesting to this client to do as well. So first, take a look at what kind of plan you currently have. Are you happy with it? I understand the cost increase is significant, but you got to weigh in the pros and the cons. Do you like the doctors that you currently have and that are accepting this kind of coverage that you already have? So what services are you using that this plan pays for? What kind of deductibles or co-pays do you have? Then take a look at on the other side and see what other plans are available out there, and then compare it to yours. So the easiest way is to find an agent who sells health insurance plans. And I actually came across somebody not too long ago in my networking initiatives. But if you don't have an agent in your local state or in your local city, then go into an insurance exchange. And there are state insurance exchanges, but if your state doesn't have it, then there's a federal government insurance exchange, and it's healthcare.gov. And then from there, and so it happens to be that November and December are open enrollment months. So right now you can shop for a health insurance plan and compare different options and features as I was describing. Can you afford to have a higher deductible plan and maybe utilize an HSA, or you don't go that route and you just accept a more higher payments per month and you don't have a high deductible? So to me, health insurance these days is kind of like buying a car insurance, right? You shop for different options, you compare and choose. Do you want an HMO type of plan? Here in Northern California, Kaiser is a big insurer, and there's lots of facilities. They actually just built a really big facility right when you drive on 101. This is for anyone who's locally here in the Bay Area, but when you drive on 101 and you enter San Francisco, there's a big building on the right-hand side. So I suppose if you live in that area, it would be nice to have a Kaiser type plan. But if you want to have more flexibility and pick and choose the doctors, then maybe PPO would be an option to go. But again, high deductibles versus low deductibles, what services do you really need? So do your homework, but you have time, but you got to make a decision before the end of the year, because the effect of that increase will be January 1st. So that's what I plan to do as well. Do some research.
Good answer, Anna.
Thank you, Jim. But I'm still
and good luck on you. Good luck on your search, and good luck with your clients too.
I know, and I'm quite a bit irritated with such a big increase. But anyway, we'll move on. Let me ask you a question, Jim.
Go ahead, Anna.
How often should I rebalance my portfolio, and why should I rebalance?
Well, it's to avoid bubbles, and most people, if they've been around for the last 10 years or so, will remember the dot-com bubble bursting in 2000, 2001, 2002, when there's 13 sectors traditionally in the stock market. And one of those sectors had 40% of all the money, and that was technology. And that bubble burst, and people didn't realize it because their statement went up every month and they didn't care. It was going up, 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 and I'm happy, 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 not realizing how much risk they had in their investments just in technology. And when people decided, I don't need any more technology shares, in fact, I probably have too many, and they sold, people like Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley sold, and then the individual investor was kind of left holding the bag, and it was really, really nasty. So looking at the different sectors in the market and how much you have in each, we'll call them pieces of the pie, 6 to 8 pieces for a lot of people, and see what's shrunk and what's grown. And you sort of want to equalize the slices of the pie to the investment allocation you've come up with. Sometimes we use an investment policy statement, and sometimes we just use sort of a discussion point of saying, well, we want, maybe 40% in the US market, 20% in the foreign market, and 40% in bonds or bond funds. Sometimes it's pretty simple, and other times it's more complex. And the frequency that you look at it is probably determined these days by how much the government affects the securities market. Right now, the last few years, the government has really influenced the securities market in the form primarily of the chairman of the Federal Reserve making a statement either before Congress or at a news conference after the open market meeting has taken place about every couple of months. And it's supposed to do that again, and the market will probably react for a couple days. Usually it overreacts and then it resettles back. But you should be looking at your portfolio these days twice a year. That's before 2008. It was my opinion once a year was enough, and we just kind of modify things. But now with the government intervention, people's pieces of the pie can get outsized either by shrinking or by expanding beyond a reasonable amount, and we probably need to take some measures. Mostly it's in retirement accounts, so there's no tax consequence of rebalancing them and bringing those pieces of that pie back into a normal range. There you go.
Sounds good. Well, one thing I wanted to add was a lot of times that pie gets out of the balance is because we could tend to contribute to either our retirement accounts or our taxable accounts. So that also kind of, shifts the whole percentage of the equation. I like to call asset allocation a recipe for a pie. How about that?
Very good. Speaking of pies, Thanksgiving is coming up.
Oh, I know. I have not made a pumpkin pie this year yet. I'm going to. I've got a week or week and a half.
You can make it in our kitchen. How's that? At the home office.
I will try. I will be on the East Coast this year, so hey. Okay. Well,
I'm going to be at the beach. I'm going to be at the beach close to Santa Barbara, but it'll be an undisclosed location. Okay.
Well, you're not making a pie, I suppose.
No, I'm on the other end, consumption.
Okay.
So do we have time for one more question for me?
For you, we do, but I will take a question too.
Really? Well, okay. How much personal liability insurance coverage do I need? This is the client, not me personally.
Okay. Well, I'll answer it in general terms, and then you can see if that benefits you too, Jim.
Okay.
Typical recommendation for a personal liability, which is also called an umbrella policy. So we've got our pies, we've got our umbrellas, okay? We've got the whole thing going here. But anyway, the typical recommendation is to cover your net worth. So just to remind everyone, when you have a homeowner's policy or renters, and if you have an automobile policy, those policies typically have built-in liability coverage. But a lot of times when you take a look at your net worth, those policies might not have enough coverage. And that's when you need to get what's called an umbrella policy that sits on the top of your homeowners, your automobile, if you have renter's policy. It gives you that extra level of protection. So if you, for example, had a homeowner's policy that was at $500,000, and then you had an automobile policy that was at $500,000, and then you needed to have, let's say, $1.5 million total liability protection, that we would recommend getting an umbrella policy that is $1 million. These policies are typically sold in 1 million increments, and I think, Jim, you can agree with me on that, that the coverage is very inexpensive compared to the benefit that you get. So I think it's about $150 to $200 for $1 million worth of coverage. So very affordable and very much recommended coverage that we advise to our clients.
Cool.
Okay, I think we've got a minute, Jim, no more, for one more question.
Okay. Shoot.
All right. I just inherited $1 million from my mom's estate. What should I do with it?
Okay. You know what? On these kind of questions that come in on First Friday, this is the one in very few that you get that really is going to involve a couple of meetings. It's too much of a change in someone's net worth, and it could be something that changes their goals. So I'm going to contact the client and say, let's have a goal session. Usually we can do that online using our Money Guide Pro planning software. Make sure the goals are the same or similar, and what their thoughts are on what they want that money to accomplish. After the end of that meeting, then I can do the analysis on their current holdings and devise a recipe that will meet their short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals. So this is one of the few instances where instead of having a free question, this is going to involve some work, because there's a lot of money at stake, and making a mistake with this amount of money is going to be a big number.
Oh, I totally agree. This is not a 1 minute question. It's a $1 million question. So you got to put a lot of thought into it.
Right.
I agree with you. Okay, well, why don't we wrap up for this month, Jim? We want to wish everybody happy Thanksgiving, because we won't see you until December, and then it will be Christmas. But in the meantime, happy Thanksgiving, and let us know what questions you have. We're always happy to share our knowledge and wisdom and expertise with you, and stay in touch. Jim, I hope you don't get too much sun on your beach, and I'm going off on my ride.
I'm going to go right now at lunchtime.
Okay. All right. Well, make sure you wear a hat.
Thank you, Anna.
Okay. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.